Hello everyone, and today I'm going to show you the top 20 things what you can do when you're in Seoul in South Korea. So let's start this video quickly by going through the list as fast as we can. So let's start with the palace area. There are several palaces that you can visit. We visited Gwangbukjeong Palace, which is a newly restored building of the very first palace in Seoul. We visit Cheongdokong Palace, which still consists some of the old buildings from that time period. And then you have Buckhon Hanok village with the traditional housing. And if you want to do something different, then there's of course Gwangjang Food Market, which gives you some great flavors and food that you can try. And while you're in South Korea anyway, try to eat some food. Food is part of the experience and Korean dishes are great for trying on that one. Then we're moving on to Myeongdong area where you can go for some shopping, but most importantly there's also the Seoul Tower. So if you want to visit the Seoul Tower, you can take up the cable car for 9,000 won round trip. You can also walk up, which they'll take you half an hour. And then another option is to buy a ticket for the Seoul Tower itself, which costs you an additional 11,000 won. If there's a queue outside, inside the shops, there's another desk where you can buy a ticket. But an alternative would be, if you want to save some money, is just to walk around the Seoul Tower and basically have all the view here as well and on the other side as well. And they're crazy with locks because everything is locked as well with those locks. So in theory, you could walk up for free, look around here for free and go down for free. And then there's the cable car as an option, which could give you a long waiting time, and then you can go up to the Seoul Tower as well. And then we're moving on to the Gangnam area, where of course you know this area from the Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Near this monument where you find the Gangnam Style, you will have the Coex Mall, where you will find inside the Starfield Library. I don't know why this Starfield Library is famous. It's very impressive to see that on top you have the corners with the books all going to the top. It's a functioning library, so people here are reading the books, some are studying. So besides that, as we are in South Korea, you'll see people posing there just in front of the escalator, just next to the bookshelves. Just basically everywhere where you look, there are people taking pictures. And then you will read online a shopping street lined up with trees, which gives you a beautiful area to walk through. But we walked there and it's not worth visiting, so skip that part. But in the same area, you'll find a plastic surgery street with loads of plastic surgery shops, which is very important for some of the tourists, especially Asian tourists who are coming there to do their plastic surgery. And then the last bit in the Gangnam area what you can visit is K-Star Road. The road where all the studios are, where all the famous K-pop stars are recording their new albums. And you'll find some bears, which are kind of a monument to all the famous K-pop stars. Another thing what you can do in Seoul, and you maybe would not expect this, is to go for hiking. Buckhon National Park has some great hiking trails and some great views over the city as well, if I have to say. Another important aspect in your visit for Seoul is technology. There are some normal arcades to visit. VR arcades are very up and coming there now as well. You have a retro gaming alley where you can buy some retro games, and there's even a retro gaming bar in Hongdae. And while you're in Hongdae anyway, Hongdae is a perfect place for nightlife, for food, for fashion, and it's just a great place to explore in the evening. Another place to explore in the evening would be Dongdaemun Market, a market 24 hours of shopping where in the night all the retail shopping, the warehouse stock holding thing will go open and you can buy loads of things for very cheap prices, even cheaper than you would find it in store, and then you have some extra things on top for that as well. Be aware, you need to buy several items, but for the shopping favors out there, it's definitely worth it and you will save loads of money. And then we're almost moving on to the end of my list, where you have to experience cafes. Cafes in Seoul is just part of their culture. It is very important for them. And they are not only about drinking coffee or drinking bubble milk tea. No, it's also about, for example, animal cafes, where you can visit dogs, cats, even meerkats, or even raccoons. There are like loads of different themed cafes and they are definitely worth visiting. And the last tip I have for you when you are in Seoul is festivals. There is no better way to integrate into a local culture to experience some of their festivals. One of them would be, for example, some traditional festivals, but if you are there in October, then you have to visit the International Fireworks Festival. This festival is every year in October, so go ahead when you're there in October and visit the International Fireworks Festival. And that's my top 20 list to do in Seoul, and I hope you guys will have a great time when you're visiting Seoul next time on your journey.